Nova, Creighton, how about a 29-point win over Seton Hall? It's only fitting to get one.
Everybody knows by now, there she is, Miss Paige Becker. She is averaging about, these young women have had strong starts in this tournament. How about the 15 and...
This morning, and starting lineups are sponsored by Jeep. There's only one. Oh, Jays in the blue, Uconn in the white. The Big East championship game is underway, and the tip belongs to the Huskies.
How about this atmosphere, Fanta? It's electric in here.
Sellout crowds 3 consecutive days. 72-53 win to clinch a Big East regular season title. You heard Allison say it. Jim Flannery wants to try some different things on the offensive end of the floor tonight. Shot clock at 5. It's Lauren Jensen. 2,000-plus points scored. A Mallory break. Shut down. And a shot clock violation.
Lauren Jensen was able to blow by, but Mallory break was met by a couple of defenders on that catch inside.
Huskies, top 5 in America, allowing just 52 points per game. Here's Jana El-Alfi in her first Big East tournament, and she's performed, Kim.
And this is where Uconn has a noticeable advantage in this game. They have a lot more size. They have dominated the paint in the first 2 regular season meetings between these teams.
A turnover. Exactly what Coach Flannery said we cannot have happen. An entry to El-Alfi, and one.
You see turnovers have been an issue for Creighton, who is in the top 10 in the country in terms of fewest turnovers per game.
Strong was off, and it's going the other way. 10. Caitlin Chen, the Princeton transfer. Gino Auriemma says she's poised as ever.
And John, we came on the air talking about Paige Becker, Sarah Strong, even a little AZ Fudd. All of the points so far have come from players other than those 3. That is the depth and balance of this year's Huskies team.
A Huskies team that made a statement on February the 16th when they beat South Carolina by 29.
Gino Auriemma loves the defensive presence that Caitlin Chen has brought this Uconn team, coming in as a grad transfer from Princeton. You see she had the mismatch against Molly, but denying that pass in.
They left Mallory break wide open. Mogensen pulls, can't get the friendly bounce. And Uconn, who has held their first 2 opponents in this tournament, St. John's and Villanova, each of them at one point had a 2-point quarter. Yes, just 2 points in the entire quarter.
And this Creighton team is one of the more impressive offensive units in the country, and they have yet to get a clean look in this game against this really strong half-court defense from Uconn. Creighton's going to have to look to play with some pace, try to get out ahead of that half-court defense.
Sarah Strong.
And John, she can do everything on the floor, including stretch out the floor as technically the 4 player on this team, sometimes the 5. She doesn't really have a position because she's so versatile in her skill set.
A welcome sight for Connecticut, just 25% from 3 in the first 2 Big East tournament games. Again, the shot clock's down to 10. Sarah Strong with a steal. Sarah Strong is special. Jensen out of control, and things are quickly coming undone for Creighton.
I was looking to see if Flannery would call a timeout. Nothing yet. He's going to trust this experienced group to get to the under 5 timeout.
The basket here might not give him a... Strong is long. Again, what must they do differently?
Well, they need to take care of the ball. First and foremost, have to be strong with it, have to anticipate the switches, and then they have to find a way to break through this initial line of the defense.
Kick out pass to Horan. For Creighton, a nightmarish start continues. When you think about it, in the first 2 meetings between these teams in the regular season, just 3 points separated them combined after the first quarter. It was typically the second quarter that had given Creighton issues, but An 11-0 hole out of the gates.
Uconn has gotten more than half their points off of turnovers so far, 6 of the 11.
KK Arnold just checked in. I know Oriema says she's like a 6th starter, but our Energizer Bunny, this time she gives it away. Second Uconn turnover. Molly just cannot buy one for a team that averages close to 10 threes a game. Lauren Jensen, oh, did the Jays need that?
They really did, and the shot that Molly took, those are the shots that Creighton is going to need to make in this ball game. Jensen and Molly have not had their signature scoring games in either of the 2 regular season meetings. They combined for just 18 in the last meeting, which is what one of them averages just by themselves.
Uconn has started 5 for 7. Strong off the catch. Cannot hit it. The Jays string a couple of stops together. Making their first Big East championship game appearance since 2016. Molly, that's more like it for Creighton.
And Molly liked the mismatch there. She pointed to her teammate at the top to get it over to the wing for a post entry. She wanted to take that in against Daisy Fudd.
Paige Beckers. And so a response from Creighton. And Kim, the way that this started, considering UConn's already had a first quarter in this tournament, where they led 18-2 after one, this is encouraging as Jensen, you can count that in the box.
To see a coach do that, I mean, you see why he's so loved and revered by his players, by his colleagues, by the media. That was phenomenal. I was in tears watching that last night.
452 wins at the helm over 23 seasons. Kim, what makes him one of the great coaches in the sport?
Well, I think Creighton is always at a high level offensively. They run one of the most intricate motion offenses that you will see as a team, and we saw that in Uconn shoot-around today. There goes Paige, her first buckets of the game, a triple. But Uconn spent a lot of time in their shoot-around today figuring out, do they want to switch here? Do they want to go under, over? And that's a Uconn team that knows Creighton very well.
Jensen from the corner can't answer, strong with the board. Uconn beating Villanova 82-54 in the semis. Beckers had 23, 21 of which came in the first half. Got to the elbow and should go to the line for a pair.
Right there, Creighton was showing her some coverage off the screen. As we look at that three-point shot, Horan tried to contest it, but gave Paige a little bit too much space. You see her hit the three, and on this one, she goes to her mid-range game where she has really been thriving so far in the Big East tournament.
Already a 2-time winner of the most outstanding player at this tournament. She comes into the program in 2020, the legend of Beckers, well alive on social media and beyond, this phenom. But Kim, it hasn't been a Hollywood script. A tibial fracture, then a torn ACL that caused her to miss the whole 2022-23 campaign. And she has talked even this week about what it means to have this moment, these next few weeks before she's presumably the #1 pick in the WNBA draft.
Yeah, it's a really special time for her because even last year when she was healthy, the team just had so many injuries that it was just not an easy season. So this is...
Paige Beckers has ignited. Now Jim Flannery calls time. The fan says it's not March Madness. Kim, that's what's also impressive. To watch Paige Beckers after these games as that finish goes for Keani Lockett. She is spending close to an hour after all her responsibilities are done, mingling with the fans, signing autographs, getting as many photos taken with the kids as possible.
Yeah, it's really cool to see just how many Uconn fans, how many young Paige Beckers fans there are here in her jersey and her signature braids.
AZ Fudd automatic.
We were lined up right behind that shot from our vantage point. I could tell it was going in as soon as it left her hands. That form is just so pure, the rotation, the elbow locked into place.
We know the Kim Adams shooter's touch. You know a good one when you see it as Mallory Brake answers. Kim, the difference in this first quarter for Uconn, just over 25% from three in the first two games in this tournament, 4 of 5 thus far.
Yeah, they are really stretching things out. They're putting a lot of pressure on Creighton, and there's the balance. They've knocked down a couple threes, and then KK Arnold comes in off the bench as really a sixth starter for Gino Auriemma. It takes it right to the rack. Everyone is a threat.
And now Arnold shows her burst with a steal. Arnold, a give to Beckers, and it's short.
KK Arnold, such a menace on the defensive end of the floor. I mean, she just snuck behind that defense, snatched the ball, and was up the floor in a hurry. Another turnover.
The fourth by Creighton. AZ5 is feeling it. That's 2 threes that haven't even touched anything.
Yeah, John, that's actually 7 turnovers already for Creighton.
Sure is. 3 seconds for Jensen to break with one. Jensen, what a first quarter for the 22-time Big East Tournament champion Connecticut Huskies.
Who average in the top 10 for both field goal percentage and defensive field goal percentage. Uconn and UCLA. Uconn is number 1 in the country in field goal percentage, 5th in field goal percentage defense. Just really remarkable what they do on the defensive end, as we heard Gino applauding in that timeout.
Ken, that's what they spent over 80% of their shoot-around on earlier today, was how they were going to cover ball screen, what they were going to do on the defensive end of the floor. Mogensen has Chen dribbled that off her foot. Mogensen can't hit. Jensen with some hustle. She falls to the hardwood, and it's back to the Huskies.
And attention to detail and precision from that shoot-around is certainly paying off here. As we talked about just how good Creighton is offensively. They average about 73 points per game, sitting on 11, and they really have gotten very few clean looks, especially for their stars, Molly and Jensen.
Talking about a team that shoots 46% per game, just 5 for 15 to start. 8 on the shot clock. Beckers with some flashes in quarter number 1. The fader is short. What adjustments would you like to see from the Jays beyond just taking better care of the ball?
Well, I think they have to play off of how Uconn is defending them. They're doing a lot of switches. You may want to see some more slips. And I think if they could get some stops, it allows them to get out and run and avoid that half-court defense that has been really locked down so far.
That's an 8th turnover by Creighton. Chen with a Euro at the track.
And this is the 8th turnover for Creighton. Who starts that deflection? No one other than Sarah Strong, who, as good as she has been offensively this season, she leads Uconn in both blocks and steals as a freshman.
Turnover problem, 37 combined, forced by Uconn in the 2 regular season games.
Well, it's been incredible. The 2 of them kind of on the same train tracks. They both scored 2,000 career points in the same exact game just a couple of weeks ago.
That's right, 2 of the top 3 scorers in Creighton history on the floor for them right now. Their 127th game playing together. Shade off, Strong picks up the miss.
And that's what can't happen, because I thought that was one of Creighton's best defensive possessions. They certainly responded to Jim Flannery saying we're not on our game about switching. Sarah Strong, we were just hyping up the defense, and she gives us a block. Pumping out of bounds and throwing it off her opponent. Her IQ is just off the charts. She attributes a lot of that to her parents. We just saw her mom, Allison Feaster, and her dad, Danny. She said that's probably what she's taken the most from them.
Allison, a 3-time Ivy League Player of the Year at Harvard, number 5 pick in the '98 draft. Allison has more.
Well, she learned a lot of her basketball from her parents, as you mentioned, Kim, but it wasn't by chance. It was through a lot of hours watching film as young as 8th grade. She said after AAU games, they would break down the film together with mom and dad, and then her mom, who of course works for the Boston Celtics now, Allison Feaster, she would often Zoom after Sarah's high school games to go over what she can improve on, areas she needs to be better. So she's been coached up from two parents from a very young age.
Yeah, really cool. I mean, post-game Zooms in 8th grade, it's really paid off. We enjoyed talking to Sarah today. I asked her, what's your favorite thing to do on the basketball court? Another turnover forced by Uconn, Creighton's 9th. But I asked Sarah Strong, you do everything on the court. What brings you the most excitement? And she had an answer that Gino Oriema didn't like. She said, I love to make a good pass. And Gino has been begging her to actually stop passing and shoot more. So he was not pleased to hear that that was her response.
Which his team does have the best assist-to-turnover ratio in the country at 2.0. That's the best since they even began tracking that type of research back to 2007.
Look at this defense. Triple team on Molly, and they close out on the opposite side of the floor in time. Everyone moving on a string.
Mogensen, Beckers was glued on.
Swarming defense right now for Uconn.
Molly took a fall. Arnold strong to Beckers. Wide open thud. Her third three.
I mean, that's just a remarkable sequence. And I don't see how you can watch that and not think that this is a team that can win a national championship in a couple of weeks.
Deflection. It'll stay with Creighton.
For three, and she has not even touched the rim. It's been pure net.
Janelle Alfie back in for Strong. You just said it, though, partner. I got to ask you. We'll have more time, but you just said national championship. Now, that's high praise. What makes you believe in this team to be able to win it all?
Yeah, I think they are playing at such an elite level right now on both ends. As we've been looking at some of those numbers, I think their depth is incredible. And then they're led by two players playing at all-American levels in Paige and Sarah. And then the complementary pieces are just so good. This is a versatile, unselfish team. Not a lot of weaknesses in what they're doing right now.
And Tridell Alfie, she started really strong. That's a bump. And it's going the other way. It's an offensive foul, says Joe Vasili. And Gino Oriema looks on with his hands up.
Let's take a look at what the officials saw. Oh yeah, I'd say that was sold quite well from Haran. I don't think El Alfie really dipped the shoulder or leaned into her to make her fall.
A 10th Creighton turnover. They only average 11 per game. When Beckers gets downhill, good luck. Drake fouls her. First time these two programs have ever met in the Big East tournament. As Ice Brady checks in for Uconn. And this has been a development, Kim, for Uconn the last week. They've had Brady back from a shoulder injury.
Yeah, Ice Brady had missed 7 games, a couple of weeks, but came back right before the Big East tournament, and she gives them some nice moments off the bench.
With an air ball.
2 assists and a block as well. I think she is as well-rounded of a freshman as maybe we have ever seen.
Wow! Ever.
She fills, I said maybe. I may be forgetting a couple, but she literally fills every single stat on the stat sheet. And there's a lot of intangibles that you don't even see on that box score.
By the way, special thanks to our libero, Jake Fuller, who's been doing a great job giving us those film room plays. Arnold with Brady, Beckers, Bud, and Shade. Beckers with 8. It was an 8-0 run earlier in this half, but first miss from downtown, but there's Ashley Shade, the Big East 6th Woman of the Year. Number 5 is left open. Paging Beckers. Timeout, Jim Flannery. Beckers everywhere. She's got 11. Uconn up 20. Coming up on the Jeep halftime report, we'll have first half highlights and we'll preview the Big East men's tournament, which begins in Gotham on Wednesday.
John, something that is really standing out to me so far, that was Uconn's 7th three. Creighton has 0. They are 11th in the country, making 9 threes a game. They're 0 for 7, and there is another turnover. Creighton already into double-digit turnovers.
Tim, how is that possible that they don't have a main three?
Because Uconn's defense has been so focused on the details. They know when they're switching, they're being aggressive. They're not allowing Molly and Jensen to get loose on the perimeter.
Aaron pass from Arnold. Can the Jays find something from a momentum standpoint to take into the locker room? Wide open Jay is good for Jamie Horan. Creighton program has been one of the best in the country the last 2 years. The record, 52-11. This year, all 5 losses are to ranked teams. Beckers, long, and she's going to get it back because of Brady's efforts. But back to KK Arnold. The Energizer Bunny. She never stopped moving.
I mean, if KK Arnold is hitting threes, you kind of got to forget about it. 8 threes now for Uconn here in the first half.
And Morgan Molly has been held to just 2 points. That kind of turns it over. Jensen with 7, but the Uconn scoring duo, they combined for 35.5 points per game. They've been held to just 9 with 2 minutes to go in the first half as we get a foul away from the ball.
Yeah, that has been a theme in the first 2 meetings with those two. And Uconn's offense just so elite right now. Extra passes, AZ Fudd making something happen by getting 2 feet in the paint. The crowd is loving it too. KK Arnold not really known as a 3-point threat, but it's that kind of night for Uconn. 8 triples so far.
And the families with high fives. Lauren Jensen, that is her game.
First triple of the night for Lauren. For Creighton, maybe that will get a little bit of a confidence boost going just to see that ball finally go through.
And now Molly with a deflection and a swipe. A big 90 seconds for Creighton to try to capture something to close this first half, which has been dominated by the Huskies. Molly with 12.
She wants that post up, but they're pushing her out or sending her a double when she gets inside.
And you can tell she's tired on that take.
Yeah, I mean, they're making her work for everything. She's just trying to roam a little bit in the paint, and she's being met with help defense and size everywhere she turns.
We'll have the first half analysis, a Big East men's tournament preview. It's all on the Jeep halftime report. And up at the break. Attack. That one just spins out for Chen. Final minute of this first half. Nice delivery and a finish for break from Jensen.
I think that has to be a recipe for Creighton. They have the speed and personnel to play with a little bit of pace, but of course you can't do that if you're not getting stops on this end. So it really starts with the defense and rebounding.
Second quarter scoring's been even until Fudd. Fudd has 11, joining Beckers.
She's gotten so confident and just smart about putting that ball on the floor when
Creighton just 1 made 3 in this first half. 1 of 9. Jensen, they brought the double. It's at 8. Skip pass to Mogensen. Jensen heaves. And in a lot of ways, that sums up the opening 20.
Yeah, I think a little too unselfish there for Mogensen. I thought on the skip pass across the court, Mogensen should have taken that instead of passing to a teammate who was already being defended.
Creighton's 3 lowest scoring first halves this season, all against Uconn. 4 seconds here. Chen. Caitlin Chen from half court.
Oh, that was as close as you could get.
It was. about the only thing that didn't go Uconn's way in the first half.
Well, he knows his team needs to be better in a lot of areas, but overall felt like the second quarter was better for them. They didn't turn the ball over as much. He said offensively, we have to continue to find that balance between utilizing the dribble and utilizing screens. He said we just got caught a couple times defensively, miscommunication when they got out in transition. So he knows his team has to be better, but he also knows they know they have to play a full game against Uconn.
Well, they start the third quarter with a stop. That's the key to them trying to chop back into this deficit.
So when Uconn is switching as much as they do, I think you want to try to exploit that with some slips. And then I'd like to see them continue to play through the post a little bit, just because Uconn is sinking in and then quickly passing out of that and around the horn to try to open up some threes or a driving lane.
Perhaps that could be helpful because Creighton, a team that prides itself on three-point shooting, 1 for 10 from beyond the arc in the opening 20. Sarah Strong lost it. And a turnover by the Huskies. Numbers for Creighton. A give to Mallory Brake. Can't lay it in. That is tough.
That you have to make if you're going to get back in this game. That you're not going to get a better opportunity than that in this ballgame. You have to convert the easy ones.
Everybody standing in Mohegan. Capacity crowd. Jim Flannery said it.
Just how they come out for their Huskies.
Connecticut has never lost a Big East tournament game in this building. Molly short.
That's just well defended by the freshman, Sarah Strong. They match up size-wise. Sarah Strong can guard on the interior, on the perimeter. She stays disciplined and contests that look from Morgan Molly, who typically is really good on that isolation, back down short corner, fadeaway jumper.
Beckers looking for fun. They join Beckers with 11 in the first half. Strong cannot get it going, and it's tapped out by Beckers to Chen. Caitlin Chen. Part of Creighton's strategy to play off her, and then a strip by Brake. So the Jays have started the third quarter with defense, but neither team has scored. And they capitalize. There's that entry you were talking about. Jensen. Short. Paige Beckers all the way.
That's just simple. Just the slightest of hesitation right around that free throw line area to get the defender to
St. Joe's. Then at Bishop Kenrick, he was an assistant. Another person who was at that school became his best friend, Phil Martelli. The two of them are getting the Joe Lapchick Award next fall for their service in basketball as Beckers hits an and one.
I've never seen somebody look so stressed as Gina Oriema with a team that has a 20-point lead in the Big East Championship game. Paige Beckers continues to be extremely aggressive, and we've seen that fire from her. We have seen the reactions all weekend long. You can tell she's hit some sort of switch in her mind. Ooh. She's locked in.
Foul on Fud. Yes, she is with 16 points. You know, what else is amazing about Gino Oriema as he emigrated with his family from southern Italy to Norristown, Pennsylvania? He taught himself English. He took on that challenge. And his parents, they worked low-wage factory jobs. He's documented that, saying that taught him about fight and perseverance in life.
Jim Flannery is livid because they just missed an offensive foul on Sarah Strong. Or sorry, a defensive foul. Trying to fight through the screen. She completely extended her elbow right there on the left elbow. I saw it. He has every right to be that upset. She just elbowed her way through the screen.
So it's a silly match for Patricia Soko Stevens, our crew. Sarah Strong attacks and finishes. 9 for Strong.
Just continue to be blown away by her offensive versatility, John. How well she reads the defense, her IQ as such a young player. Flannery still giving that ref an earful on the sideline.
Morgan Molly swishes it home. Was 1 for 7 before that Nate. Strong, a wide open lane.
Uconn just attacking the rotations, attacking the closeout, back-to-back rip and go throughs for Sarah Strong. And let's just take a quick look at why Jim Flannery was so upset. You can't even see it as well as I saw it from the exact sideline, but Sarah Strong really extended the elbow and knocked Mogans into the floor, and it was not seen by the officials.
Lauren Jensen is a tough shot maker. She's got 13 points.
So, yeah, their stars have hit back-to-back threes. Jensen and Molly just have to continue to stay confident, stay aggressive, not allow Uconn to take them out of what they've done all season long.
Jensen now with 54 in the tournament as Chen travels. And that's what Coach Oriama told us when he talked about Creighton. He said, they're going to make shots. Early on, UConn kept them from that, but he said that's why our offense has to answer the bell. Can they have?
Offense has been incredible. And this is such a tough Creighton team to defend, but attention to detail has been strong throughout, even right there. Again, another play by Sarah Strong, just sticking with Morgan Molly, deflecting that pass in. It's a really good matchup, Strong and Molly. That's a fun one to watch.
As Arnold comes back in for Chen. Look, you played this game, Kim, at the college level. How interesting was it to watch UConn's players weigh in on how they were going to defend Creighton?
Yeah, it was really interesting. It shows the trust that the coaching staff has in the group. I mean, they are the ones out on the floor. They're the ones who have experienced this Creighton offense 2 times already this season, and there were a lot of decisions to be made. A couple times Gino stepped in and said, listen up, this is what we're going to do. An impactful player when she is as aggressive as we have seen her in all 3 games of this Big East tournament.
Allison has more on Paige Beckers.
Well, you guys are showing just how locked in she is here in the postseason. And Gino Oriama told us earlier, seniors can go one of 2 ways this time of year. They can panic and start to worry about what's next, and this is it, or they can embrace it and really take off. And that's clearly where Paige is at right now. And I asked her a little bit about that mindset in this last postseason for her, the mentality she wants to play with. She said it's different than previous years. She knows it's her last. She said, so I just really, people may talk about pressure and what we're trying to achieve, but I just want to have fun and embrace it and enjoy every moment because I know I'm never going to get to do this again. I just focus on going out there, playing as hard as I can for each 40-minute game and advancing this team.
It is that mentality, Allison. Thank you very much that Coach Oriama talked with you for a little while about today. Of it can go one of 2 ways with a senior.
Yeah, and she just seems like she's playing with a clear mind, and she's just allowing her game to speak for itself, let the games come to her. She's got fantastic teammates around her, that young one being one of them. Sarah Strong she's really picked up her rebounding in the last couple of weeks. We came on the air saying she's averaging a 15-point, 15-rebound double-double in this tournament.
Creighton has been stifled tonight. Just 12 for 34. Molly has not been able to find her stroke. And that's been a theme in the regular season between these 2 teams. Bud can't cash in, but the Creighton duo hasn't delivered one of their signature games.
Yeah, I think the defensive focus on the 2 of them for UConn is just at top-tier levels. Right now, Paige Beckers locked in on Molly. KK Arnold, I mean, that's not a defender I'd want in front of me. She's as good as it gets in keeping players in front and having active, tenacious hands.
Molly Mogensen. You can't forget about her when you're talking about the legacy of these 5th-year Creighton BlueJays.
Yeah, she's really been an incredible third cog to Jensen and Molly. So steady, the leader of the offense, a 1,000-point scorer herself.
On the shot clock for Fudd, and she was out of bounds.
Creighton has been able to force a significant number of turnovers themselves. That is the 14th for UConn. We talked about Creighton being in the top 5 of fewest turnovers. UConn's actually second. They only average about 10 per game, so they are already above that level here in the third quarter.
You talked a few moments ago about UConn rebounding. Well, they have been missing Aubrey Griffin, veteran wing in the Big East tournament. UConn plans to have her back for the NCAA tournament. She's dealing with knee soreness.
Yeah, Aubrey Griffin returned in about mid-January from an ACL tear in January 2024. He's seen action, but they felt it was better to hopefully get her feeling 100% for the big dance. They expect to see her back.
Molly flashes in. That's Morgan Molly's game.
And that's the reading of the screen. That was a slip of the screen when they're sending 2 out strong. They've got to continue to just read and attack, which they've been so good at all year. Kate Becker's on the miss, something she hasn't done too often tonight.
Molly trying to get cooking. Short rebound to KK Arnold.
And you could tell maybe a little bit tired on the legs, because that time she did have some opening. They didn't defend that flare screen perfectly.
7 points in the quarter for Molly. Just 2 in the first half. Arnold from strong. Arnold foul.
This is just falling asleep defensively for Creighton. They sent kind of a light double team down to Sarah Strong on the catch. And then KK Arnold just has a simple cut right in front of Strong, and nobody recognizes it.
All Big East freshman last year. From Germantown, Wisconsin, KK Arnold. 3-time AP Wisconsin State Player of the Year. All those big-time recruiting classics she was a part of. What does she give this Connecticut team?
Well, what jumps off the charts for anyone watching is the prowess she brings on the defensive end. How in your face she is. She brings tenacity, she brings speed, and she just brings a toughness about her, a grittiness about her, and she completely can change the momentum of a game, the pace of the game when she's inserted on the floor. And it's just a really, really strong weapon right on cue. You see the reaction, a really strong weapon that Gino Auriemma had just waiting in the arsenal on the bench.
That's what Coach Auriemma says. His team has 7, perhaps 8 starters.
Yeah, here's KK Arnold. I mean, this is like the last person I'd ever want to defend me. She's relentless. She's always in a stance. Her eyes are up, surveying where he's going to go next. Able to force a turnover.
Arnold. To Chen. Princeton transfer, driving. Doesn't go. Rebound to Mogensen. Top of the key 3. Point blank range. It was short for an offensive rebound after Heathcock missed it. Ten on the shot clock. Jensen, she's been the lead Blue Jay tonight. But that is deflected out of bounds. It'll stay with Creighton with 8 on the shot clock. That was that first quarter. It still really is the difference in this game. Which Connecticut outscored Creighton 27-11. UConn's won 14 straight Big East tournament games, 13 of which come by 20-plus points. Chen. Paige Beckers. And it's going the other way.
Paige.
Brady.
Paige upset with herself. That was a wide open 3. Creighton forgot to send somebody out with her. She wanted that one.
Sometimes you're almost too open.
Right.
She thought about that.
Am I in the right place?
A 3-second difference between shot and game clock. And Beckers was all over that with an interception. Shot clock turned off. She points up the one to hold it for one.
Yeah, just a ridiculous steal, sticking with her Jensen, trying to curl across the lane. Great hands.
This is where she can thrive. Giving it off to Fudd with 3. Fudd with a bounce to Chen. It's deflected out of bounds, and Gino Auriemma claps his hands as he likes to see his team execute in any situation. 1.9.
Yeah, he's not going to be happy with that execution, especially if they don't get a bucket here. Interesting setup here, sending 2 players pretty far back. I think Ice thinks she's on defense.
Strong tried to play volleyball, but that'll do it. For quarter number 3, the Huskies are 10 away.
Schedule 26-5. All 5 of their losses have come to teams that are currently in the top 25, and 3 of those losses came to teams that are in the top 3, UCLA and 2 to Uconn. I know this isn't the showing they hoped in this game, still a lot of game to play, but I really think they should be considered for more of a 6 or a 7 seed. I don't think it's fair to, I think it's a bit disrespectful to put this team in the 8-9 game. There are double-digit lost teams that are 8th in their conference that are seeded above Creighton. I don't think that's completely fair.
They started the year 1 and 2, very difficult non-conference schedule. So since then, 25 and 3 as Beckers is fouled. You play UCLA, you play Kansas State, South Dakota State. The committee says, hey, you should schedule people, and there shouldn't be hefty harm for that, Kim.
Agreed. I mean, obviously, a win like this would have been huge to really make a case, but I still think regardless of this result, again, that would be all 6 losses to top 25 teams and 4 in the top 3. I still think you have to respect what they have done this season.
52 and 11 the last 2 years.
And I think you show respect to Uconn as well for how well they're playing. I mean, this is the next best team in the conference. Gino said it earlier in the year when Creighton wasn't ranked. I don't know how this team isn't ranked.
Can Uconn get up to the 1 seed line on Selection Sunday?
I don't think they'll get there, just because this is really the only game left. So I don't think they can really make up any ground, but I think they're certainly playing like a 1 seed, and they're a very dangerous 2 seed.
That's an illegal screen by Brady. The Huskies ranked 3rd in the AP Top 25 poll that came out earlier today. Again, it bears noting South Carolina was ranked 2nd.
Yeah, let me get back to that in a second. Let's take a... I think that was a pretty solid screen from Ice. Brady Mogensen got absolutely trucked by it, but I think it was a legal screen. I think she was set. That may have been a case of the teammate not calling her out. It was a really hard hit, but I think it was legal. But yeah, back to that. So today it came out. UCLA back to 1 after beating USC in the Big Ten, and then South Carolina up to 2 after destroying Texas. It's a little perplexing to see Uconn behind them after Uconn beat South Carolina by 30 on their home floor. Certainly shapes out to be an interesting NCAA as Molly Mogensen rebounds from that tough hit.
Just the 4th Creighton 3. 4 of 18 are the Jays from downtown. For a team that among the best in the country in 3-point efficiency as Fudd is off. Jensen tries to save, and they're going to rule it Creighton ball. On the AP poll, Kim Adams, a proud Associated Press top 25 voter.
Don't put that out there. I don't want angry tweets coming my way.
Come on now. Nobody would be angry at you. Bruins, what a redemption type of story for them after Juju Watkins ruled the regular season meetings. Lauren Betts and company said, this is our time.
Yeah, Corey Close, big on that response. I hear her use that word more than anything. Her team certainly did that yesterday.
As Arnold is fouled. And there is your top 10.
Yeah, it is interesting to see South Carolina jump UConn after the head-to-head loss, just a head-to-head meeting a couple weeks ago, and Creighton in that top 25 as well.
Gino Auriemma, Jim Flannery. One unique aspect to this championship game, the two coaches have a combined 63 years of experience and at the same schools.
Yeah, really special. Jim Flannery, a Creighton alumni.
He bleeds blue. And what he has built, now 4 straight NCAA tournament berths, when they hear their name called, is special. Greatest Creighton women's coach in the history of the program. Mogensen with 6, couldn't hit.
The defense is just everywhere. The help defense comes early. They're swarming ball handlers, and it's been relentless pressure for the entirety of this game. There has been not a possession taken off.
They doubled strong. She just bulldozed her way through. And we've got a foul on Creighton.
Foul on Creighton.
Yep.
Molly Mogensen, man, she's taken some tough hits in this game. Let's take a look here. Molly Mogensen caught, oh yeah, she was, so they made, I don't know if they called the hook first, because that part of it looks like an offensive foul, but it looked like Mogensen had her arm wrapped around.
Foul's on Lockett.
Foul's on Lockett.
That's where they called it.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, so from that angle, it looks like that should have been an offensive foul. Sarah Strong really dropped that shoulder into Mogensen.
12 on the shot clock. Paige Beckers, the 2-time Big East Tournament Most Outstanding Player. And she has her sights set on a potential third. 20 points, her 17th 20-point game of the year. 3 of them coming in this tournament. Locked in Paige. Timer at 10. Mallory Braid swishes it home.
That's good readiness. Mallory Braid, the one who takes and makes the least amount of threes of the group on the floor, but able to get an opening off the drive and kick.
To your point, just the 7th made 3 of her season. She's made 2 in this tournament.
Ooh.
Arnold
Skates. Oh.
couldn't finish. Jump ball. Break and shade.
Ooh. Russian shade. Never seen that side of her.
That is a different side, and the fans love seeing it.
She's Midwest nice. She comes in here.
Bud is off. That was perfectly put, and as a Midwestern native, truthful. Gino Auriemma has to tell his players, Kim, every now and then. Sarah Strong also being another. You have to be meaner, ladies.
Yeah, that was funny. Sarah Strong went to help up a teammate earlier this year, or help up an opponent, and her teammates were like, why would you do that? And there's the triple from Creighton.
And it's a 14-point game. It's not as if UConn has just totally run away with it. Creighton has started the 4th on a 9-4 surge, and Gino Auriemma calls a timeout. 6 straight for the Jays.
With the stunner shades on. The fans really, we come up with it all here.
They sure do.
You had the ventriloquist dog. You had the chipmunks.
We've seen it all this weekend, Mohegan Sun, but we've mostly seen Paige Beckers, Kim, dominate. What to you when you think about her legacy? This is a big term that's going to come up.
Yeah.
How would you categorize it?
John, this is not a podcast episode. I don't have all day to talk about this, but Paige has obviously been one of the best to ever put on this jersey. Fastest player to reach 2,000 career points. But I think she knows why she came here, to win a national championship. It's something she has yet to do. I think that's on the top of her mind. I think this is an incredibly talented team that has the potential to do that. That's why I think we are seeing her play with the urgency and aggressiveness in this start to the postseason that I don't anticipate that slowing down anytime soon.
One doesn't go strong with the board. 65 points in the tournament. That was very well put in non-podcast fashion by you.
Yeah, I mean, that could be a long-term discussion, without a doubt. But just an incredible career as a Uconn Husky.
Truly is. You know, Oriana said she just keeps raising the bar. Three short, strong. There's Beckers, 24, 6, and 3 assists for one of the all-timers to put on the uniform. How about the defense? It just doesn't stop and forces an 18th Creighton giveaway.
And this is the relentlessness that we're talking about with Paige Beckers. Arnold misses. Sarah Strong tries to tap it in. A little pad. They should count that as an assist. Paige Beckers gave her a little point. Paige Beckers, that's her 24th point. But you're right on the defense. I mean, they are making Creighton look like they are not a good offensive team, and Creighton is a really good offensive team. So what I'm saying, I think we're going to see Uconn do this to a lot of teams in the NCAA tournament, just take them completely out of what they do well offensively.
Jim Flannery's calling for a timeout, and he gets the call. Frustrating night, and the kind of look that makes you say he expected more from his team in this game, but they trailed right from the beginning, 11-0.
I mean, I think Uconn is playing as good as anyone nationwide right now. This is a really tough team to play against, to play at this time. And they're, as we were just talking about, the Uconn defense has just really disrupted the free-flowing offense of Creighton. And you do feel for them, because I know they wanted to put out a little bit of a better product here, but they've got a lot of season ahead of them.
Take a look at the top 2 seed lines in projected brackets from Autumn Johnson. What's your reaction when you see these 8 teams?
Yeah, it's interesting. I think the 2 LA teams have been incredibly good all season long. South Carolina and Dawn Staley, no surprise, they are surging late, as we saw in that SEC title game yesterday. And then how about Duke? Duke just running through the ACC tournament. And TCU, maybe the biggest surprise of the season. Maybe not a surprise once you heard who was coming there, but that is a team that has not been to the NCAA tournament since 2010. And they're going to be in the mix to make a run to the Final Four.
Mark Campbell has done an unbelievable job in year 2. They hadn't won the Big 12 tournament since 2005. The point, though, Kim, is what you and I have talked about. There's never been a better time in this sport, and there's a slew of real national championship contenders.
It is 100% up for grabs this season. Anytime you have thought that there is a dominant team at the top, somebody has knocked them off in the next week. We've seen a myriad of teams at that #1 spot, like a revolving door in the last couple of weeks.
Arnold with another steal. Arnold, no. Save for Creighton. A Creighton team that went 16-2 in the Big East. The only 2 losses came to this Connecticut team. Mentioned their best performance in this league. 8 on the shot clock. Mogensen, Lockett with 5. They're just everywhere. Everywhere. Beckers with a brilliant play, and Fudd picks it up. Jensen saving it, and Creighton will take it right back.
We're 37 minutes into this game, and the defensive pressure from Uconn looks like it did in the opening 30 seconds of the game. It has been nonstop.
Knock it off. Foul on Uconn.
Paige Beckers really good on the defensive end as well. Coming with the correct hands to block that shot, to be in position to not foul, and then saving the play as well. Just instincts from Paige. 5 blocks for Uconn tonight.
2 blocks, 2 steals for Beckers. Give her 96 blocks on her career. 4 off another threshold. Committing a foul this time. Send Brooke Lidtrell to the line. Well, Kim, whether you're a 1 or a 2 seed, however things shake out, would be quite a second-round prize if you have to face a Creighton team that's 26-5.
Yeah, this is a Creighton team that made an Elite 8 just a couple of years ago, taking down Iowa in Carver Hawkeye Arena. It was Torin Jensen hitting the game winner over her former team. This is not an easy team to prepare for. Again, we haven't seen the magic that Creighton can bring just because of how elite Uconn has been defensively, but this is a team that can give you problems on a one-day prep.
Caitlin Chen, and if those are falling, forget it.
9 triples for Uconn. A bunch of different players have knocked one down.
5 different Huskies have knocked down a 3. You just said it a few moments ago. They haven't wavered. You'd never know there's 2 minutes to go.
No, they play incredibly hard. They play incredibly connected, and it's an unselfish brand of basketball. But the Stars have led the way. Paige has been aggressive like she needs to be.
Beckers to fire. They open the game on an 11-0 run as Jim Flannery has gone to the end of his bench and is going to clear it to reward those reserves. Molly is fouled and 1, and it's fitting to see that, Kim, from a Blue Jay legend.
Jim Flannery going to let his seniors, I'm sure, get a resounding applause here from their fans that have shown up. Wow, even the Uconn fans, Paige Beckers coming out at the same time. Sarah Strong.
An ovation for Beckers. The 10,000 here tell the story of how much they appreciate greatness. Caroline Ducharme checks in. Kate Samuels, Ali Zabel for Uconn. Eight on the shot clock here and a foul. Well, during that moment, Molly finishing out with a dozen. What a legacy they lead. You're talking about a couple 2,000-point scores and some of the winningest players in the history of Creighton basketball.
Yeah, that whole group really decided to all come back for one final season. Mallory Brake, Morgan Molly Bogenson, Molly and Jensen right now, as it says, the second and third all-time leading scorer at Creighton. I think it is within reach, depending on how far they go, potentially to become 1 and 2. Molly Bogenson, such an unheralded member of that trio.
Jensen, 13 points showing, 2,042 for her now. Molly with 2,054 career points. Final minute. And a steal here from Townsend. Creighton team to get here. They made a statement yesterday. They beat a bubbly Seton Hall team by 29. Beautiful basketball that we watched. Tonight it has been all Huskies. Here's Ducharme, who's been through so much to get back out onto the court. Chen. She was super steady tonight.
Really an underrated piece. I think you mentioned it's steady, probably the #1 word on offense, and then she brings an ability to defend as well.
Listen to this place. They tell a story.